Wait, what? War Thunder? Is it 2077 already? But it's Thursday. Surely today should be World of Tanks. Well, yeah, I mean, this is Tanks, it's just not World of Tanks. And honestly, you're not missing anything. This War Thunder battle is far better. This is HXI. Is that a Roman numeral for... You know what? It's Dave. Yep, Dave's back. And he's in the Type 59. Which is nowhere near as impressive in War Thunder as it is in World of Tanks. The Type 59, of course, is a Chinese copy of the T-54A, known by its industrial designation as the WZ-120. So yes, all of those World of Tanks players with WZ-120s are actually playing Type 59s, even though the Type 59 in World of Tanks is a Tier 8 and the WZ-120 in World of Tanks is a Tier 9 because wargaming. It's called the Type 59 because it was accepted into service with the People's Liberation Army in 1959, although serial production didn't actually start until 1963. You can see a prime example here of War Thunder's arse-about-tit battle rating system in the L333 there that Dave just rear-ended. That's the Italian CV-33 tankette, based on the British Carden Lloyd tankette, designed in 1933, and yes, it's in the same battle as a Chinese medium tank that entered serial production in 1963. Good job, War Thunder. Nothing wrong with your battle rating system at all, is there? Up ahead, Dave is about to encounter an Object 120. If you have no idea what an Object 120 is, there's probably a very good reason for that. It's another one of those machines that never progressed past the experimental stage. It's essentially an Su-152 Taran, with the Taran taking the name from the 152mm rifled anti-tank gun that was fitted to it instead of the standard 152mm howitzer. The one prototype that was built had the distinction of being armed with the longest gun ever fitted to a fully enclosed armoured fighting vehicle. That prototype was built in 1965, so things are looking even better for that tiny little Italian tanker. The reason the Object 120 was even thought necessary was because at the time, tanks like the T-55 and the T-10 Heavy just couldn't penetrate the frontal armour of tanks like the M60 and the British Chieftain. But it wasn't adopted because also, at the same time, some very effective smoothbore 125mm guns were being adopted. Also, anti-tank missiles were rapidly becoming a thing as well. Nice kill on the Swedish Stridsvagn 101 there. Another tank, by the way, because that's the Mark 10 version that was in service in the 1960s in the same battle as a tiny little two-man Italian tankette that was built in the 1930s. And people complain about the battle rating in War Thunder. Oh, speaking of big, mean, nasty tanks, there's a mouse in a T-10A down there. Now, under most circumstances, if you were in a medium tank like the Type 59 and you were faced with a pair of monstrosities like those, you'd probably be thinking, screw that for a game of soldiers, I'm out of here. But not Dave. Dave is made of stern stuff. And his first shot hits the T-10A right on the muzzle of the gun barrel. Now, as Dave closes in, hopefully the T-10A driver has not been paying attention, because if he tries to fire that gun with a damaged muzzle, there's an excellent chance that in fact he has, he's burst his gun barrel. The mouse is preoccupied. The T-10A is desperately trying to take out a Type 59 with a 12.7mm machine gun. That's just not going to work. The mouse has finally turned the gun around, but he just can't get the gun barrel down low enough to hit anything other than Dave's turret. And in the process, although he doesn't know it, but he's about to find out, there it is. He's also damaged his own muzzle, which caused his gun barrel to split apart like a ripe banana the next time he fired the gun. So Dave can basically take his time here. Although he does appear to have taken some damage to the breech block of his own gun. It'll be fine. He's looking to try and hit the mouse's transmission through the side skirts, and he's done it. There's the engine fire. The mouse is basically now done. Although he needs to get out of there. He doesn't want to be sitting right next to him when he explodes. That could be bad. So, 4 kills already. That's not bad. The mouse should probably count itself lucky that it didn't have to fight the mighty L333 tankette. Oh look, Armada. And not anymore. Although the actual L333 was armed with a 6.5mm machine gun, the one here in War Thunder does at least get an anti-tank gun. Well, technically it's an anti-tank rifle. A 20mm anti-tank rifle. Honestly, who bought that thing? There was actually a version of that tank out with a flamethrower, which is on display at the Tank Museum in Bovington. That's a nice hit against the T-54. He's on fire. And that's finished him off. Right then. 6 kills. It's pretty impressive. But Dave is only getting started. Although right now he's basically going to sit on this spot. Maybe get some repairs underway. The breech of his 100mm gun. If you look at the little paper doll at the bottom left of the screen, it looks like it could use some attention. And in any case, he is sitting on a cap circle, which his team have just flipped. So he's ideally positioned to repel any counterattacks from the enemy team. Now, you might be thinking, given the sudden unexplained proliferation of War Thunder videos that I've been showcasing lately, that I have suddenly developed a soft spot for War Thunder and think it's a great game. Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far. I mean, it certainly has its problems, not least of which, as we've already seen, the hilariously unbalanced types of tanks that often get thrown into the same battles together, which is a frequent source of, how can we put this politely, spirited discussion. Yeah, that's what we'll call it, on the various different War Thunder forums. But probably the biggest problem is the economy. War Thunder is an unbelievably grindy game. Gaijin are constantly updating the War Thunder economy, and they usually just manage to make it worse and even more grindy. The grind in World of Tanks is trivial by comparison. World of Tanks seems to make its money by selling premium time and premium vehicles, and War Thunder does that as well, but it seems to put a lot more emphasis on incentivising you to buy Golden Eagles and use the Golden Eagles to convert free experience in order to skip the horrible grind that Gaijin have basically built into the game. It's another case of a developer deliberately making something horrible in order to encourage you to pay to skip all of the horribleness. It's a bit like YouTube aggressively pushing YouTube Premium, which if you don't have it as a way of watching YouTube without having to suffer through any advertising, which coincidentally happened at the exact same time that YouTube suddenly started tripling the number of adverts that they were showing on videos. Entirely coincidental, I'm sure. Oh, and another extremely unfortunate martyr, and kill number 7. Dave's on a killing spree. He's unstoppable. Well, not quite. I mean, he's doing really well. But he doesn't know it. He's about to bite off a little bit more than he can chew. Although, first, he's going to farm another kill. For kill number 8. But it's when he comes around this corner, like I said, he doesn't quite know it, but there are a lot of enemy tanks around this corner. And it's the BMP-2. Okay, that was a... I like that War Thunder has destructible scenery, but sometimes it doesn't animate particularly well. There we go, kill number 9. And it's the anti-tank missile. There it is, from the BMP-2. That puts an end to Dave's killing spree. The BMP's low-velocity 76mm, I think, gun couldn't possibly damage a Type 59, but, well, the AT-2 Saga anti-tank missile, that's basically what it's for. Dave, however, of course, has another tank ready to go. This is the Type 69. What the hell's the Type 69? Well, it's a kind of updated version of the Type 59, based on design elements from the T-62. And if you thought it was ridiculous that tanks from the 1930s and tanks from the 1960s would be in the same battle together, hold on to your socks, because the Type 69 was introduced into service in 1974, and fact fans, is still in service today with the armies of Bangladesh, China, although only used as reserve and training tanks, Iran, Pakistan, Myanmar, Sudan, Thailand, in service with the Royal Thai Marine Corps, and Zimbabwe. Seriously, War Thunder, I think we need to have a word about this. If you're wondering if this tank is available in World of Tanks, it is. It's the 121, because the factory designation of the Type 69, incidentally China's first indigenously produced tank, was the WZ-121, which is a Tier 10 medium tank in World of Tanks. Although there's significantly more bullshit in the World of Tanks version of this machine than there is in the War Thunder version of this machine, because this machine in War Thunder is armed with its historically accurate 100mm smoothbore gun. Although in reality, later variants of this tank were fitted with a Chinese knockoff of the British 105mm rifled gun, but in World of Tanks, this medium tank gets a 122mm gun. A gun so big that it couldn't possibly have even fitted into the turret ring of a medium tank based on the Type 59. But, well, it's been a couple of years now since World of Tanks did anything even slightly rooted in reality. Just look at the Chinese tank destroyers, for example. Anyway, Dave, being a bit more cautious than he was earlier. I mean, this is a good tank. It ought to be. It entered service in 1974. In the same battle as tanks that were designed in the 1930s. And the early 1930s. Oh look, it's another mouse. Oh yeah, that one was never going to penetrate, not the turret front. But the mouse does not appear to realise that Dave is here. Or if he does realise that Dave's here, he's not paying any attention. The gun's still swinging in the wrong direction, so Dave goes for another transmission shot and gets it. Following up, he's going for the ammo rack. And oh no, it looks like he's jammed the turret ring. Alright, well, he can take his time now. That mouse isn't going anywhere. Although, no, he's going to go for the Marder first. I really do need to apologise for the excessive number of Marders that were harmed during the recording of this video. What's that, 3 now? 4? The mouse is still immobilised, of course. And he's taking him out with an ammo rack hit. Dave, what are you doing? You know that mouse is going to explode. Dave does know that that mouse is going to explode. Dave knew exactly what he was doing. He needed to get out of his Type 69 quick, because Dave has something important to do now. He's now spawned in an IL-28, and he's about to go for a rocket-assisted takeoff at the end of this runway. So, this is an aircraft that first flew on the 8th of July 1948. It's a Soviet medium bomber. It was introduced into service in 1950 and continued to serve until the 1980s when it was retired from Soviet service. But you might be surprised to know that it is actually still in active service with North Korea, where it's operated by the Korean People's Army Air Force, although nobody really knows exactly how many of them are used. It has been used by Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, just, a lot of countries. Most of them, as you'd expect, former Soviet bloc and Warsaw Pact countries, although there have been some notable exceptions. The Nigerian Air Force used them. The Indonesian Navy used them as torpedo bombers, although they were retired from service there in 1972. Yes. It's only North Korea that still uses them, which is pretty brave considering these airframes are, 80 years old now. Now Dave is flying low and fast. And there's a reason for that, because he really, 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 really doesn't want to get intercepted. If you look at the top of the screen, you'll see that the enemy team are in control of or contesting all 3 of the capture circles, and that flashing blue ribbon indicates that Dave's team are hemorrhaging tickets at a rapid rate and are basically about to lose this match. But Dave has an ace up his sleeve. Because Dave has managed to rack up so many kills and so few deaths, Dave is now given the opportunity to deliver a dose of instant sunshine, which, if he manages to pull it off, is going to win the match for his team. He just has to get to the bomb point without getting shot down. He gets one chance at this, and one chance only. And there are some anti-aircraft vehicles. I think there's a Gepard over there, right in his flight path. So he's been asking his team to give him cover, and there was quite an air battle raging over the bomb point up ahead. The Gepard is now in shooting range, but does not appear to be paying attention. Dave reaches the bomb point, drops the bomb, and for anybody who wasn't aware that this could happen in War Thunder, well, this just happened in War Thunder. One dose of instant sunshine, courtesy of the Royal Dave Air Force. Good job, Dave. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. And on that quite literal bombshell, that's it for today's War Thunder video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching to the end. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.